maybe another support for themselves now.
Yeah, it's still pretty open as to where the Kotl goes, right? Like, there's a chance for that for Narman, and you can play a nice greedy Kotl. You can work up towards a Kaya E-Blade, can be really effective, work towards your Ags. And the Ag Shard is really good. You get recall back every single time you're in your spectral form. You can just keep dragging people in. We've seen aggression come out from that. Very easy to reset. Go for another fight. As we've seen AG, they love constantly fighting from that last game. And the Kotl on the 4 can reach that point a lot faster. So that could still be Norman's. That could still be Varish, as it can still be a very selfless 5 if you want. And I think this next pick dictates that. Like, again, when you look at Norman, same thing as we saw with Azura, you want him on something flashy. The Kotl's not quite the flashiest, but it does have a solid lane. They go with the Lich. Now, this is something I kind of saw last night when I was watching Europe. Lich plus DK. You get the Breed Fire off when they have someone with Frost Armor. It's very hard to kill them off. You don't have the Underlord that was there as well with the Atrophy Aura, so it's not as suppressive as that, but this is still a really durable lineup. With the Pangolier as well, Mike, these heroes are going to be hard to kill. And you do have that burst window with Storm, but how are you going to hold, say, the Pangolier now? You don't have a room for Bane, you don't have room for BKB Piercing Control, Ogre Magi, or your supports. It looks like a pretty good game for Wami to just keep rolling around here.
No, I agree with you. I mean, Shield Crash plus the Frost Armor is going to be annoying. DK plus the Frost Armor is going to be annoying. Even without those two things, John. I mean, you think about IO plus anybody. They want to be right next to each other, just tethered up. But Chain Frost can be very detrimental to being kind of close to each other. So, not such a bad hero to pick up. Lilgun, they do end up going down the Gyrocopter route, which is a hero that, you know, when you pair it with IO, does feel very, very strong. Personally, John, you know, it's still Gyrocopter. I don't think this hero is very good right now. Is it going to be good for Lilgun? I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to wait and see. What do you think? I mean, am I wrong, John? I'm not going to go as far as saying Gyrocopter's trash, but it's certainly what I'm thinking.
You know, I mean, you and I have seen Gyrocopter for what? At least almost our entire casting career, Mike, from 2018, 2017. It's been there with Io that entire time. It still pops up every now and again. And I think the only time I actually enjoyed seeing this was in one of the matches yesterday, or, you know, last week, where we saw Io Gyro and we saw the skill build-up of Gyrocopter being 2-1-2, right? Not 1-1-3, not 0-1-3 stats. It's a 2-1-2 build, so you have laning presence with the overcharge. And I think that's the best way to play it. A mix of farm with flat cannon at level 2, a mix of aggression with rocket barrage at level 2, so you can play with the overcharge really well with Spell Amp. And I think that's the way Lilgun will have to play. They have to get that laning aggression out. They are likely to lane against a Pangolier that can be a pretty simple hero to run down in the first 3 levels. You know, Shield Crash at level 2 is pretty annoying, but you have enough spell damage to kind of eat through it. So you can be aggressive, and I think that's what we need to see from Lilgun. They can't afford to play this just sitting back and farming Gyrocopter in the laning phase. They do have to get some of that aggression out, and then they can shift to farming. I am keen to see how they build up here on 4-2-3. Like, what's the item build? Because I think the last few times we've seen Io Gyro, it's been a rush for Crystallis. And again, that was kind of popularized by Palos on Obi Neon, or when he was playing on Boom, for a bit. But it's a hit and miss kind of thing. Like, if you do get run down, if you have this fast blink on the DK and that level 6 on Lich, they jump in, Dragon Tail stun Gyrocopter, you're tethered up with your IO, you get Chain Frosted, as you pointed out, you're kind of dead. So I wouldn't mind a BKB rush this game, just to be present and following through your storm. But that also kind of signals that you do want to fight, and that might not be the kind of aggression Lilgun wants from the past 1.
I agree. Let's see where Lilgun go with these final ban-outs. Of course, they do need one more hero, and it does seem like it's an off-lane hero we're lacking, unless it's going to be like an off-lane Gyrocopter, but this isn't Raging Potato we're looking at here for Lilgun, so I highly doubt it's an off-lane Gyro. Still, Army Geniuses do need a pos 1 for themselves. Nothing like a Tiny this time around, nor do they have something like the Medusa. What else have you got? Like, you've still got heroes like Lifestealer, which I think can be decent in these situations. No Morphling, which would have been very nice. Any other pos 1s that really kind of stand out to you? Like, I personally want to recommend something like the pos 1 Ricky, but it's probably not going to happen.
I mean, DB plays Ricky, so that could slide through. I was thinking more like a PA Wraith King for DB. Those are heroes he's very comfy on. Wraith King, you eat through the initial burst of Storm, he's going to run out of mana, you come back, deal with him. You have Skeleton Summons for push to play with the DK. So a Raid King seems pretty decent. Gyrocopter could build Diffusal. We don't really tend to see that too often, though. I think we've seen it once, but in our own games. And they go with a Razor instead. So that's still an early aggressive hero. You don't have the best static link targets. I mean, those are 2 ranged heroes so far here. Storm Spirit can zip away. Gyrocopter you could run down. This would be, I'm assuming, for AG, something like a Power Treads, Falcon Blade, BKB build. So you just want to be active early. This is definitely a hero that doesn't need to sit back and farm. He wants to farm heroes. The rest of the lineup does kind of play with that really well. And you have a lot of ways of keeping that Razor tanky. So I like that pick. It makes it pretty tough for Lilgun to find a good offlaner. You know, I think the one option that's left is something like a Sand King, I think is still in the pool. And Razor kind of deals with Sand King as long as there's a sentry around. So this is a really stable way of securing DB's lane, along with providing him a hero he can be aggressive on. Necrophos comes out from Lilgun.
Wow.
So okay, so that's a better matchup for Necrophos up against Razor. You can hold your own. You do have good range on the Death Pulse. You can sustain yourself with last hits. I just worry about like the teamfight presence once more. Their AoE hold is really just not there, and you compare that to AG with a Blink Stun DK, with a Pangolier with Rolling Thunder, and the Chain Frost, and the Gaze. Like, their control just feels a lot more solid. Whereas for Lilgun, single target hold is what? Missile, Fire Blast, Vortex. You could count Reaper's Sight, but that's a 2-minute cooldown across every level, not the most reliable uptime. So I think the pacing issue might still be there for Lilgun. They've got to play really fast with a Gyro and Storm to really snowball here.
They certainly do, John. I think it's going to be a very interesting draft, though. Like, you can say the same for Army Geniuses, right? Like, they have this kind of timer. I don't want to say it's a, mid-game timer, because we see Razor actually able to snowball throughout the late game these days with, say, Refresher Orb up. DK, obviously very good as well, once you have the Aghanim Scepter available. Now, that Black Dragon does hit very, very hard. Lilgun, though, they definitely have the answers, especially with this Necrophos up and available now, in terms of just bursting down something like this DK throughout a team fight. But let's see how it all pans out. Currently, Lilgun 1 game behind Army Geniuses. Of course, AG, they'd love to have themselves an early night so they can watch the rest of their CA DPC. But we'll see how it does go down. Game number 2 between Lilgun and AG set to get underway. How you been doing today, John, by the way? I didn't really get to ask you much about how your day was.
Prepare for battle.
Good. I had a really good lunch, Mike. Lots of good food. We had something called giniling, or I think some places call it picadillo for some reason. I don't know why.
Picadillo.
It's just ground. Yeah, I don't know why. It's ground meat with potatoes and some carrots. It's really good. Some achuete to color. It's really nice. Nice and simple, Mike. Nice lunch. Nice light lunch. How about you, Mike? How was your day? You always ask me. I never ask you. How was your day?
Not too bad. I mean, things have been a little bit crazy in the household, John. It's currently storming quite badly, which means that my ceiling is leaking at the moment, which is not very nice.
Beautiful.
Yes. Always good to cast with the mold growing on top of you and everything else, as we are going to have a 5v5 team fight, it seems. Army Geniuses going to hold the high ground. They've pinged out 11. They know that Kishka and 11 are hanging around that mid lane. The question is, do they move to the low ground to try and contest these bounties? If they do, it's almost a guaranteed kill onto this Necrophos. All IO. Even Sanctity going to show up, maybe realizing something might be a little bit awry here. So they are going to run down, but AG already waiting. In they go, 11 going to go the other way to the high ground, but now realizes he's in big trouble. They don't have the Razor around, but it may not matter as they have the Plasma Field. And DB, of all people, is going to claim first blood on the Razor.
Yeah, that's going to feel great for DB. He's just going to be able to, ride a little bit faster onto level 2, have a little bit more farm for the first rate band. And looking at that top lane, Mike, it's a Razor plus Lich. It can get pretty aggressive. Like, the magic damage you do have on hand with the Frost Blast and the Plasma Field is actually pretty high. So you can punish the Necrophos for playing from range. Of course, for the side of LG, they've got 11 Kishka and the Necrophos IO, so this is a high sustain lane. When overcharge is up, Death Pulse can deal pretty good damage, and you get double healing. So it can be hard to actually kill off 11 once he does manage to get that heal off, because he's healing twice. It's not going to be feeling too great with a burst. So it's a stable lane for Lilgun, but I don't think you're going to have enough presence to really shove DB away. Sure, he can't play with a static link as much. You can always opt for a plasma field oriented laning build and just keep farming that way.
Have a look at the mid lane as well here, John. I mean, Azura against Sanctity here, so the Storm vs DK matchup. We always kind of say the same thing when it comes to DK versus anyone. It's the boring lane. Anything we need to watch out for here, John, or do you just feel like they're trading CS?
They're trading CS. You know how it is. It's a DK lane. You don't really do much. Storm can't do much against you. Even the level 3 spike for Storm hits level 3 spike. With level 2 Dragon Blood, you can't kill off Azura. So you're just going to farm. Rune control is much more important for Sanctity than it is for Azura. So that's something we have to see Lilgun be on point with when the power runes do spawn. But beyond that, yeah, you just hit creep smite. It's a good old farming lane.
Yeah. And of course that final lane, John, bot lane, you're going to have 4-2-3 and Ace 12 against Wami and Narman. And this, to be fair, John, does not look like the easiest lane in the world for AG. Like, maybe once you have a few more points in Chakra Magic, Wami can essentially just keep shield crashing and swashbuckling, but for now it does seem like 4-2-3 should have a very good time.
Yeah, he's going to be able to keep farming up. You are seeing that... Well, it's actually not too high on the CS board, but he's keeping Wami down. So the progression for Pangolier is going to be a lot slower. I love that they are running up, trying to be aggressive here. They do have a lot of damage that can fly through. And as long as Wami's kept down, delaying that level 6, they can't get arrested as much as they'd like. So,
11.
A good, strong start.
11. I mean, he's really relying on this IO to keep him up as they do pop the salve, but I think 11 may have gone too far, and he has. I mean, they have a lot of heal, John, but they can't underestimate the static link, and well, Varish, he has plenty of magic damage.
Yeah, you can still eat through it. I guess that's one thing we failed to mention as well. Static link with a frost shield, getting some good slow pulses off, some good damage, and allowing them to stay in range of the static link for a lot longer makes it tough for the Necrophos. I mean, you do have a lot of heal. The uptime and death pulse at level 1 isn't the best. You know, you kind of need that at level 3 feels pretty good. Level 4 is the best, but that's past laning phase. So you're getting a lot more here than you expect for DB, and again, the Razor does feel like it has a very strong early spike with BKB. You do not want to allow that Power Treads, Falcon Blade, BKB timing to really line up by, say, the 12-15 minute mark.
Bot lane, Narman, he'll be chased down. They have the Rocket Barrage available, though Narman, he's going to try and duke this one out as best as humanly possible, as Ace 12 will keep the chase going. Verify going to be 8. Wami still chasing down to make sure that Narman might just make it out, and he does. And Coddle, even without brown boots, Jonathan, 330 movement speed is now 4-2-3. He's going to cop the Illuminate. Wami, though's going to miss the swashbuckle. Oh no, he's missed it completely. 4-2-3 though, still in big danger. Is Narman going to give the cooldown back off cooldown, but Wami's in big trouble. And now the turnaround. 4-2-3 is going to get a double. Oh, it's a classic Pango mistake. Missing the swash, and it costs them a double kill.
Yeah, it's a pretty big set of kills for 4-2-3. The lane's already been going pretty smoothly, although CS not quite, but the 2 kills make up for that. And you're going to be feeling pretty bad. At the very least, your top lane's winning out as well. Another kill coming out for DB, and even Kishka's not safe here.
Oh, he's barely going to get away. Varish, I think, waited a bit too long there for the Frost Blast as he was trying to give the kill over to DB. They won't mind though, John. I mean, you've got the Necrophos down another time, and it's one of those heroes, Necrophos, where if it doesn't have a great lane, it doesn't tend to catch up very quickly. So 11 already off to a very rough start here against the Razor. See if he can kind of catch his way up now. Like, he's still doing a great job in terms of CS, but already 2 deaths on the board for the Necrophos.
Yeah, it's not the ideal. Like, you're stalled out to your level 6 timing. Your itemization's also going to be a bit slower than you'd like it to be here. And you are still applying good pressure onto the Razor, decently enough, but again, that timing, Falcon Blade's going to be flying out, and that fixes a lot of his mana issues, lots of good damage, and you're going to chase again.
It's just such a strong combo here with the Lich, with the Razor. 11, still trying to run. He'll get the Ghost Shroud out, and maybe now they can try to turn a little bit, but DB's got so much bonus damage. I think 11 will just be satisfied with surviving through that. And DB, he'll be happy. I mean, he'll just keep his farm going. No pressure here for the Razor.
No real need to really secure the kills. I think the pressure for AG is still on that off lane. You really want Wami to start finding a lot more of the Coddle combination. They're trying again.
And down at bot lane, they aren't really going to be able to find it. Everything fine here. I was having a quick gander at mid lane, John, because Azura has popped the dragon form now, and he does have a siege creep up. So it does seem like he wants to get rather aggressive with this T1 mid tower. But first, he wants the power rune, of course. He won't get lucky, though. It's going to be an arcane rune down a bot lane. Problem is, Sanctity is not going to see it either. It's a bit unfortunate for the Storm. It does mean Azura should be able to get some decent damage off of this mid-tier 1. They do glyph
Norman snags it away. And this is, again, the pivotal thing for the Storm matchup up against DK. You need rune control. We're not seeing the supports come out from Lilgun. I guess there's not much an eye can do. DB's being chased down up top, though.
He might die, but he's still healing from those tangos. Oh! He's alright. The tango was going the whole time, John. That made all the difference. Because Azura, he's got the tier 1 mid tower. I mean, this is a really, really bad start for Lilgun. You don't get the Razor, and you don't protect the mid tier 1 either.
And you're not going to be taking that top. Norman heads up top, clears out the creep wave with Illuminate, push progress of a Necrophos. It's not a pushing hero. You know, it really doesn't siege well by itself, so you're not going to be able to pressure the objectives. Really strong start for AG, much more even though. Lilgun's finding some wins in laning, but they are still holding their own on the side of AG, and DB's back.
And this time they'll go after Kishka. Kishka does not have anything like Ghost Shroud to abuse. He's going to try and find out at the target. 11's going to give him one. Kishka, he might barely survive, and he does. Narman, he'll have a look around for the IO, but is not going to be able to catch him. At least for now. Kishka and 11, not really sure where to go. We'll go to try and take some stacks instead, and I suppose why not, assuming they can get away with it. Seems like Narman has spotted this out, though, and is going to stick around to at least soak XP, but more than likely just take the creeps for himself, as he gets most of it. What a great hero.
That it is, Mike. Still managed to clear out a good chunk here on Lilgun's end. They are still staying. Could provide some time. They don't have the backup for their cores here, although here comes Sanctity.
Sanctity. Frost Shield's going to only do so much. Nice little rotation there from the Storm. Will allow them to take down that Pos 5 Lich, and oh, they want the regen, and they're going to get it. Sanctity barely able to snag it away before Azura does deny it off. Again, though, John, I think the main issue here is for Lilgun is that mid-tier 1's still gone, and it's going to make life a bit tough for 423 once he does leave this bot lane. Might just struggle to find a place to farm in peace.
They haven't been able to really build up stacks for that Gyrocopter. Good block out from AG on the large camp. Ancient's not built up. Supports haven't had time to go into that area. So you do have this really good, decent laning start for 423, but no way for him to snowball that advantage.
Bot lane, Ace 12 going to be chased down here, but he'll go right for a TP out and is not going to make it. Azura. The Breathe Fire has more than enough damage, and it seems like they're more than ready to go after a bot tier 1. And I don't believe Lilgun can actually defend this. Maybe they can glyph and delay it, but that's about all they can do with this right now.
They're finally in position, though, to take out the top tier 1. So they can go for a bit of an objective trade, giving them a little bit of room to farm in. The issue is now you've allowed DB to take mid solo. He drops into the triangle, he farms up. There are some good blocks as well on those camps. So not as many stacked up on the large and ancient camps as you'd want, but Razor's not really a hero that cares too much about the stacks anyway. He'd have to expend his ult to really clear that out. So you're still finding a lot here for AG. Eventually the bot tier 1 will fall. It is taking them a little bit more time. They don't have Dragon Form for half a minute now, but they've got the bodies to get that done at the very least.
Yeah, they'll get it done eventually. You do see Lilgun slowly rotating over through that Radiant jungle. Pings are out. Problem is they might run right into Wami, and that's not going to be the easiest target to try and burst down. He's got that Rolling Thunder up. There goes that bottom tier 1 we talked about. And unlike Lilgun, AG is certainly going to try and hold that mid tier 1 for as long as possible, but a zip in Sanctity, who are trying to get the right fight started. Still, they do hold him down for a second, and he is forced to just zip away as Wami will go for a bit of a chase here on the Pango and does actually find the Ogre. So they get something for this Rolling Thunder. And in the end, no real damage being dealt to the mid tier 1 here by Lilgun.
Yeah, it's not the kind of move you'd want. Again, there's a bit of a sieging issue for Lilgun. Their tower push is just not particularly amazing, especially in comparison to game 1. You know, they had Brood, they had Enchantress with creeps. They have nothing like that now. They don't even have anything like the DK. DP was banned first phase, so nothing like that. And it's just making it hard to open up the map. As long as that mid-tier 1 stands, AG has a good launching point for aggression, and they can still hold on to their jungle despite some of these wards being dropped by Lilgun. For Lilgun, I think it's about time to just give 423 some space to farm, allow this Gyrocopter to become that big beast he can be. He is rushing the Ags build-up. So he's just going for the stats, going for that extra attack on the secondary gunner. He will need stacks, and they haven't seen that ward yet on the large camp. Ancients are being stacked up, large camp is left alone. So still taking away some resources from 423, but if you do get this win condition online, Mike, it is IO Gyrocopter. It can be pretty tough to handle. There is still ways of the Razor dealing with that. It's just not the easiest way of matching up against it.
Still, 423 has fallen a little bit behind here on the gyro. I'm considering it is a gyrocopter, John. We'll farm up some ancients now. I think the one real threat here for Lilgun right now is going to be Azura. Like, again, he is farming extremely well on this Dragon Knight, and you get to a point where that Axe comes up and the shards, and it becomes even harder to try and deal with this guy. Sanctity. He get caught here on the storm if he's not too careful. Azura actually wrapping around. Do they see him? Oh, they do. The Observer Ward barely giving vision just before it expires. They're going to try and help him out. Kishka, he can't get the relocate off, though. He doesn't bother throwing it out. I mean, he reacts fast with the tether and the overpower, but that's all he had going. And that ward, it just wears out as the storm dies.
Yeah, just getting max value for AG. A really good use of that blink up on Azura. Still manages to get a good stun off. Like, that was a range stun, you know, but he was close enough that it felt nearly instantaneous. Window to react wasn't that high. And they do manage to get some punishment. 3-7, less than 1k lead riding for Lilgun. Their farm distribution on their cores are a lot better. Main difference is really just on Wami. He's lagged behind. He's had a tough lane on the Pangolier. So he's really the one factor that's not showing that net worth for AG's advantage. But he doesn't need much. You know, he's working towards the Spirit Vessel to cut off the healing. After that, could go for the Yules or the Blink. And once you have that, your initiation is really fixed up. So we'll see what Lilgun opts for. Yeah.
They're going to try and fight perhaps here, John. Big smoke out. 11 does have that level 1 Reaper sight, and they might just find Varish, who does break the smoke. They will jump in right away. No hesitation. It's not the kill they really wanted, but they'll take it. It's something. And I do appreciate the positioning there from Varish to just break the smoke and allow the rest of his team to just get away freely.
Yeah, it buys them space. I think at this point, AG will want to wait for the BKB on DB before committing further. Just respecting the fact that there is a way for Lilgun to play aggressive. The threat of the Reaper side is so big, and they've done a great job of dodging 11. Like, he hasn't had a single use of Reaper sight, not a single stack up. Just not using the spell. And for Necrophos, that feels terrible. It's like a line who doesn't get the finger. You know, you hit level 6 in that support, you want to smoke kill. If you're not doing that, you're losing tempo. You're losing one of the strengths of that hero. So you want to make use of that from Lilgun. We haven't had that opportunity.
He's under vision again here, Sanctity. They saw him, and they'll take him down so darn fast. They even found the IO Wami. He's got the perfect position. There's no escaping from this one, as they'll take down Kishka. And once again, the Storm just under the vision of AG, as they even found the Gyrocopter. With the Chain Frost down, he's been slowed up, and there's no way out of this, surely. Is he still trying to run? They'll pop the Reaper side the Wami, but even he's not going to die. He'll get onto the high ground as the Blinding Light going to knock them onto the high ground as well. Oh, Lilgun. They just can't escape. Poor old Ace 12. He'll be the fifth one to go down. A full team wipe.
We talked about the sustain on Lilgun, Mike. You always have to remember, with a Keeper of the Light, if Spirit Form is up, he does have a heal with Illuminate. But it's just a little bit of healing, but it was enough to keep Wami alive. But that was the first Reaper sight we've seen, and they're not done here.
You break the smoke as the IO, you try to tether away, but it's not going to be enough. At least Sanctity gets out with his life intact, but I think Lilgun are understanding how difficult this game is certainly starting to get. You look at DB, John. He's almost got the BKB up now. That is a very concerning sign if you're Lilgun.
Yeah, that just means that the Orchid timing here from Sanctity is not going to do much against your Razor. DK is not going to care for it too much as a DK anyway. He's tanky enough to eat through a lot of those hits. And for the side of Lilgun, I mean, it's still the same issue that stands. They haven't been able to push out. Their triangle's not the most secure place in the world, but that opposite mid-tier one still standing. And they're not able to just AFK farm in the Gyrocopter. Like, this is a Gyro who's still behind a Razor and a DK. That's not the position this hero wants to be in at all. The Ag's only one part away. He's got a couple of stacks to clear out. They have to keep that farm game up, get the items on the Gyro, because he is going to be your big scaling win condition at this point.
Oh, a lot of stacks, though, have been left behind as they can't stick around and finish them off. So a fair bit of gold now going to go back the way of AG. They won't actually go for the Ancients, though.
So this is what the
There's one positive, is you can go back for those if you are 4-2-3. Definitely wants to have at least the Aghanim Scepter up before he can get involved with his team. But even then, I think you need a lot more than that. Who have they got? Top side, they have found the Necrophos 11. Does at least have Ghost Shroud available, but you've got the Rolling Thunder to come in from Wami. He'll land it perfectly once again. It's 11. Surely has no way out of this, and he won't. AG just way too good with the control, way too much aggression. And they've bought enough time now for the BKB to be fully online for DB, which does mean he can get involved now with his team whenever he wants.
And this is the spike for AG that we were talking about. It doesn't take too much farm for their heroes to really be online. Like your Razor's ready to go. You'd maybe want the BKB next on Azura to really feel comfy. The Orchid's been revealed by Sanctity. Did jump in trying to charge a DK, but again, that's a DK. You don't really have enough burst by the Storm itself, even with the Orchid, to take care of that hero. And that just means AG now can adjust to that Orchid. They can be aware of it and be ready. They're not going to be caught off guard by that silence.
Ace 12, he may get caught off guard here, John. But no, looks like he's going to be alright. Again, 4-3 and Ace 12 were under that dire vision, at least for a second, but it doesn't seem like they were ready to really make the jump in. Not without Azura around. But now AG wanted to go after that tier 2 mid tower. 11 going to show himself, but he has proven not to be very tanky in this game so far, as they'll make the jump in with the Spirit Vessel, but they won't commit. They aren't going to go past that tier 2 mid. They'll play it safe. It is still a very close game. They've got to respect Lilgun's draft. So they do back off and wait for another day. Like right now, you might just want to address the bot lane, because Sanctity has pushed it in and continues to do so.
Dire's bottom tower
Doing a great job of just stalling out, getting what farm he can. Still no blink on Wami, so the initiation angle onto the Storm is pretty tough.
Orchid is there onto the Pango. Barish, though, with the Chain Frost is going to really do quite a bit of damage, as now they've got the IO. Nobody's ever alone here from Army Geniuses, and it makes it that much more difficult for Sanctity. In fact, he's going to get caught out. Narman's seen him. The TP away. Oh, it's going to make it. Wami, close, but not close enough. Regardless, my point stands, John. I mean, if AG are never alone, you can never really abuse the Orchid.
No. It's just so hard for the Storm to get that solo pickoff potential this game. AG are ready to just stay clumped up, keep running around. And perhaps when Sanctity has a BKB, he feels safer in bigger engagements, and that's when we see Lilgun start to clump up themselves. You know, play with that big frontline initiation they can get, start locking in some heroes in the back line, and getting the numbers advantage that way. I'm still keeping an eye on Sanctity here.
Oh, they've got the gaze up, but do they have the follow-up? Not quite. Not without the Rolling Thunder. Not without the DK either. They certainly are making Sanctity just be very afraid to go anywhere. Like, look at this. He's back at the bot lane. He's going to know it's not safe. He's actually going to try and do some damage to the Pango, but nothing's happening. And had the DK been around, that may have just been Sanctity dead.
Would have been a nice stun. Jump in, you've got the damage on hand. The good thing here for Lilgun is that they've stalled this game out enough that they're playing on the opposite side of the map. They're getting some decent build up here on 423 and on 11. He is working towards the Kayan next with a shard, so his damage output's going to be way up. Smoke out from AG though, looking to punish up top. They know where they are.
11. Poor old 11. He just can't catch a break, this poor guy. He'll run, but it's not going to mean much. He'll be dragged right back into the fire. They'll just leave him to die. Snarman maybe gets caught out on the keeper, but no, they're going to ignore him. Instead, there's a rush going on for that double damage rune down bot, but Azura, he wants a storm. Do they have a stun? Not quite. Already committed the Dragon Element. They could not cancel the TP. But Azura does take the DD for himself now, and well, that certainly means you can move into that mid-tier 2 tower if you wish.
They've got the opening here. Not too much time left in Dragon form. Wami still kind of playing around the Ancients here.
He's not afraid, John. His team's right by him. He's just baiting. That'll be one gone. Sanctity will try to make the jump in, but I'm not sure about this. It's a very dangerous jump to make. He's still alive as well. This Pango is just not dying. Wami, he will survive thanks to the front shot, but no, they finally get him down, but now 4-2-3 is going to drop. That's not the trade that they wanted. is they'll even find the Ogre. A triple kill for Azura. Sure, you lose Wami, but who the hell cares?
Yeah, it's not on him. It's really Azura. It's really DB that's giving them the openings now. He still does his job. It takes him forever to die. They have to commit a lot of heroes from Lilgun to just punish Wami. Everyone else cleans up. And it's back to that point in the draft, Mike. You've got Frost Shield, you've got Breed Fire. Physical damage output of the Gyrocopter just doesn't feel great. Especially with just Ags on hand. You have a Crystallis for crit, but it's not quite enough to overwhelm that. And again, we saw that a little bit in Europe last night. In the one game I was watching, by coincidence, it featured these two heroes.
Sanctity trying to slow down the push here from DB. DB doesn't really seem to mind too much as he'll get some free heals out. But he actually misses that one. Won't really matter too much though. He's still not afraid. Hoping Sanctity comes back in. Azura, where's the stun?
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Tips out.
Dire's middle tower.
Oh well, sometimes you're looking the wrong way. Azura just... Maybe he needs the eye surgery you got, John.
You know, it's funny too, because Sanctity also didn't react immediately. There you go.
Never mind. There we go. Sanctity. Well, he'll try, but... I'm surprised he even went back in for that farm, I'll be honest, John.
Radiant's bottom tower
I mean,
is under
you know, when Azura came in, Sanctity also didn't react for like a good 1-2 seconds. So it's like, yeah, hello.
Azura, he's not missing out on anymore. Look at that, John. He's quick. Showing his team, like, look at this. I'm quick, guys. I'm quick. I promise.
Gosh, you know, Army Genesis,
middle tower is under attack.
they're such a funny team because I think they've always got this potential to play like this. Because again, when we came into the series, Lilgun was kind of the favorites, but this is a team you can't underestimate. They're all within top 50 of the leaderboards. Not many teams are like that. You know, they're very consistent in their pubs. They play a lot of pubs. I think the big thing for them was just working their team dynamic. And showing up here, like, they're playing really well, they're coordinating well, they can make fun of each other. Lilgun not completely out yet. They're still stalling out for 4-2-3. Our Gyrocopter is going to hit its own BKB spike, and that's when it feels a lot comfier for him to stand in front, not care for the Bleed Fire at the least, and do the damage he needs to do with the IO. It's still IO Gyro, Mike. This can still scale very, very well into the late game. Lilgun just have to keep holding on for item leads. My concern though, Mike, is that 4-2-3 is just not getting an item advantage. He's still behind DB despite all that space. Refresh up on the Razor. This Razor is going to be very, very scary to deal with double Eye of the Storm and double Static Link here.
I mean, DB hasn't even gotten involved yet, John. I mean, I said once he had the BKB up, he'd surely get involved. They just haven't needed him. And what happens when he does get involved? Here we go. Four-man smoke up. Sanctity's going to be targeted again. They don't have the vision on him, but they know he's around there somewhere. So he might go for the creep wave. Sanctity, be very careful, sir. He realizes that they are around somewhere. So he will stay in the tree line, at least for now. Does reveal himself. Oh, he's actually going to make the jump in. Azura going to move in with the Dragon Tail, and it is going to land thanks to the gaze set up from Barish. Rolling Thunder there as well. Sanctity, a very aggressive play, and it does cost him. As now Azura is going to move in, but they can still try to fight back. The Razor is making its way over, though, and this is where things get very scary. You've got DB to join the fray. 4-2-3's been left to die on his own. It's very, very messy from Lilgun, to say the least. AG, they play them like a fiddle there, John.
That they do. They get a good bait in. Wami very fast with Blink reaction. He got Orchid, immediately left the area. And just managed to remove that utility from the Storm. That is the first Reaper sight we've seen from Lilgun. That's the first stack out for 11. It's not even on a big target. They had to use it to kill off a Keeper of the Light. It's not a high priority, but it is still an important hero to heal on the Spirit form. So they just can't follow through. And maybe again with the BKB and 4-2-3, when that comes out, it feels better. It just feels like you're too far behind on the Gyro to be comfy. This is one of those heroes that we talk about, Mike, that it feels like you need an item advantage, right? Like Luna, like Medusa, you know, in this kind of mid-game point, you want a gold lead and you just don't have that.
Narman, he's not going to drop. He has the mech and stick charges, and Sanctity is still trying, but this might cost him his life as he's out of mana, and Barish tips him already. They knew he ran out of mana. It's just not good. It's not a good trade. As Sanctity, he's trying, but he's got no damage.
Yeah, it's not enough. Now, to be fair, that is a net gain for Lilgun, at least on Sanctity, so that is still worthwhile for him. At least he's gaining some gold. 11 though.
He's gone. There's no TPing. They're just going to hold the Dragon Tail. Static link up, DB. You'll finally get a bit of a taste of what teamfight feels like. It's 11. Is going to drop very easily, and I think you just go Roshan. Double damage available. May as well just go Roshan now. If you are AG.
Yeah, they could look for a bit more of a team fight. I think they respect the fact that respawns aren't too far off, and they've got a pretty big advantage, so they could try to force the issue first. BKB is up on 43, so again, our Gyrocopter could feel comfy up front. We'll have to see if the damage is enough.
Do they go Roche? Azura? Yeah, he's making his way over. He won't have the DD rune for himself. Wami took that one on the in the bottle, but it won't matter too much. They've still got plenty of damage available. It's just going to take a little bit of time for the Roshan to go down. On the brighter side for Lilgun, I mean, you could try to force a fight because you have the BKB up on Sanctity, but it seems like they're just going to take the time to farm anyway. And so that'll be a free Roshan to go the way of AG. Nothing to stop them. And for Lilgun, it's literally just taking time to farm the tier 3 items and maybe just a bit more gold for themselves.
Yeah, DB TPs to the outpost while he's being taken.
Oh, look how confident he is, John. He's TPing into 5 heroes, by the way. That was just him TPing into 5 heroes. Just doesn't care.
Yep. He knows. He knows he's too big to handle. Still has to refresh BKB if he wants. Refresh static link. Refresh.
Oh, alright, maybe not anymore, Johnny. He did waste his BKB, so the Aegis is going to go. A bit too cocky there from from the Razors. DB, no, he's gone back in. Link up. He won't refresh. No, never mind. He does refresh. He wants the fight. He wants the kills. And in fact, they're going to find the Gyrocopter too. 4-2-3. He's going to try and BKB up. DB is dropping low, but the hill's coming from Narman, not letting him die. As Sanctity, he has barely saved the Gyrocopter, but he will not save 11. I guess on the bright side, you got the Aegis.
Yeah.
Something.
You got Aegis, you got the refresh use, so there's a window here you come in, but you did use your BKB as well as the Gyro.
And the Ace Bomb gone. Zura, no fear in the world as the BKB was running. But it does seem like after that initiation, they are going to back. They got double buybacks out from Lilgun, and that's more than enough for them to be happy. You just go back to control the map.
Pretty much just build up, keep hitting those item spikes. AC gonna be up for DB in a relatively short time. Azura, Ags, 300 gold away, so that's the time you've been talking about, is they still find more.
Yeah, Wami just so aggressive. He loves seeing 11 on that Necro. No Rolling Thunder available, so he'll go for the roll-up instead. 11 gonna have to be relocated away. Try and save the Necrophos's life. And maybe now they can force a fight. Knowing Kishka has to go back in, but DB will pop the BKB and just move in himself onto Ace 12. Kishka and the Gyrocopter! They're gonna go back together! Oh, what are they doing? Sanctity, he's gonna try and fight with the BKB up, but he can't. GG!
GG? What?
What was that?
Oh my god, that was not the way that Lilgun wanted that fight to break out. I think they expected more people to be on top before the relocate went back in than just disrupt the fight with the Gyrocopter in the middle with a BKB running. Didn't go according to plan. They didn't manage to engage in time, maybe a bit of comm issues. And, you know, we talked about this a little bit in the draft, Micah. We talked about the fact that Lilgun was going into an eye-opener. It's kind of out of their comfort zone. They love their combinations with Grimstroke. They love their TA. They love their Husker, Broodmother, Lycan. They went with IO Gyro, which is just not something we're used to seeing from them. And it's all because AG came out, allowed them to take Brood in game 1, left the Lycan open, took the Grimstroke themselves, and managed to also win that in a pretty decisive manner in game 1. I think Lilgun were forced into a playstyle that they weren't fully comfy with, and they were, you know, they didn't manage to really use IO Relocate as well. I think that's the one thing. Like, they had IO Storm, and we didn't see that too often outside of farming because of the way the game was going. And AG, props to them. They play amazingly well. Again, not just all in on the draft, Mike. They execute like a team that's been playing together for years. You know, they know what each other is doing. I think all of that time I see Varish post them going out to eat and play billiards, which Wami has challenged me to. I think all of that time's paid off. You know, like, they're bonding, and it's the growth of a team. I think they had the same issues Talon did in Tour 1, where Talon just got dragged in, 2 weeks before open qualifiers. They play through AG. They've had a little bit more time to simmer since Tour 1. And we're seeing the effects of Norman being in Indonesia, spending time with him, working on comms, becoming friends. Their coordination is improving. And this gives them a chance for promotion. Not a big chance, mind you. RSG and Talon, one of them has to lose 2 series. And I think most of us only see either team losing 1 series. But that probability still stands for AG, and they're looking good. The improvements have been immense, Mike.
It certainly has, John. Very, very clean kind of matches here from Army Geniuses. And Lilgun, they're not an easy team to beat. Usually they're one of the kind of those teams that you just don't know what to expect from, and they tend to run those very cheesy drafts. But we even saw during that Game 1 draft, just they leave the Lycan open, they leave the Broodmother open, they just didn't seem to care. Hell, even the Husker being left open. As we are waiting for an interview, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we are having Varish on the way right now. We're just gonna have to wait for him to make his way over into the group so we can drag him over and have a chat with him. Still very clean game, and like you mentioned, John, AG are theoretically still in the running to be able to make it through to the upper division, assuming that Talon and RSG can be beat. And I believe right now, based off our previous history, AG has already lost to Talon in the past 2-0, but they still have a matchup against RSG coming up. Now, again, RSG looks completely clean, but if you're AG, I think what you're hoping for is you're hoping for Talon to beat RSG, and then you've got to beat RSG. And then maybe you've left yourself an opening because the scoreline should be pretty even between AG and RSG, assuming those two things can happen.
Yeah. And we'll see. I mean, we're starting to close out the tour here, Mike, week 4. So not too long till those matches are done. What isn't far away as well is that Varish is in. So our interview is ready to go, Mike.
Well, hello, Varish. How you doing, sir?
Hello, sir. I'm good.
Very good to hear. Obviously, you guys look fantastic in that best of 3 series. Varish, I'm going to ask you straight away. Game 1,
Okay.
John and I were both surprised that you guys left the Broodmother, the Lycan, the Husker. You left all of it. You guys just weren't afraid to deal with it. You guys just knew how to take care of it the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, we kind of prepare for it already, so we are not banning it.
And so you're telling me you guys were very confident coming into this best of 3 series? Like, you guys made it look easy. Did you know this was going to happen?
I don't. I'm not sure. We just. I mean, in this series, we just kinda want to play some good Dota, So yeah, we kinda enjoying these 2 games. So yeah.
Yeah, how's the chemistry with the team, by the way, Varish? Like, I can already hear you guys sound very happy in the background. Are you guys you guys are constantly laughing throughout the games, or is it serious when you guys are playing? What's the comms like?
Yeah, of course we are playing serious, but we just didn't take it too serious, Of course we having fun. Also, yeah.
Yeah, go on.
We kinda enjoying the game, so yeah, I think that's why we kinda win this game.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, knowing you, Varish, seeing your Instagram stories, I know you guys get to be a very fun team, and I love to see it. Keeping that spirit that Wami and the old AG used to carry. I'm curious, like, for a lot of people, I think this result is a surprise. What do you think led to this revitalized Army Geniuses? Because let's face it here, and I'll be frank. The first few weeks for Army Geniuses weren't the tightest, but you guys are looking amazing now coming into week 4. You have this really strong, decisive win over Lilgun. What do you think led to that improvement for you guys?
I mean, yeah. In this season, we kinda improving a lot, especially in the last month, I think. It's just we just choking in the first 2 games, I think. That's my opinion.
I think that's fair. How much of a factor is it, do you think, that the difference is Narman is now with you guys in Indonesia? Like, has that helped you guys bond more, or do you think things stay the same? Like, was that a big thing, Narman coming back with you guys?
Of course, it's a big thing. Narman staying in Indonesia. I mean, yeah, we can communicate better and we can do some things together as a team. Yeah.
What do you think? How do you personally feel? And this is going to be a bit of a tough question. How do you personally feel your chances are to get promoted into Div 1? It's a tough road. RSG Talon have not taken a loss, but you could potentially give RSG a loss, and Talon could give RSG a loss as well. But how do you find those chances of that happening for yourself? Like, how high do you think that is going to happen?
I'm not sure though. RSG, I mean the RSG match is if I'm not wrong, they still have 2 matches left, right? It's
Hmm.
gonna be facing UDV and Thailand. So yeah, we just hope that they lose the 2 matches and we win the rest of our match.
Fair. I've got a question because RSG and Talon are kind of tied up right now. From
Mhm.
your view, being a third party, who do you think is the stronger team to face off against? Like, who are you more worried about in potential tiebreaker for that last slot? Are you more worried about RSG or are you more worried about Talon?
Hmm. I think it's Thailand. Yeah,
Oh.
they're kind of a strong team. I mean, RSG is also a strong team, but I think Thailand is like the player is more experienced.
Yeah, that's fair. And my last question before I close out my side. Is it true that Wami is a billiard king, or is he lying? Are you the actual billiard king here, Varish?
uh, I don't know.
Maybe it's Norman. Maybe it's Norman. Maybe it's Azura. Maybe it's TV. Is Wami as good as he says he is? Is he actually winning your billiard matches when you guys bond?
Uh,
It's a
no,
tough
no. He
one.
just he just wins sometimes.
There you go. Wami, we're gonna play billiards. Tell Wami that. I'd love to have you on my team if we play duos, Varish. We're gonna beat him.
Okay,
We're gonna beat him.
okay. Of course, sure.
All right, with that, Varish, I think we'll let you go. Congratulations on your victory, sir, and best of luck for the future.
Okay, thanks. Have a nice day.
You too.
Yeah, brother.
Thank you.
Yep.
That was a lovely Varish. Oh, these players are so polite, aren't they, Jonathan? I mean, people say SCA's toxic, too much toxicity. These people, I mean, these are the most polite people. In fact, I believe Parker made a comment yesterday about how cute SCA players are when they accidentally swear in an interview and they get all shy and upset with themselves about accidentally, spilling the beans and saying a swear word. It's just the cutest thing, and we appreciate you SCA players being so polite. Still with that, Jonathan, that is it for us in Div 2. At least for now, I believe there is 2 more series coming up. The schedule will be on the break screen as we do head over. But it is MLP Dota and JohnXFire. It's always a pleasure. We'll see you all again next time, but don't go anywhere. We are going to be back with some more great series very, very soon. See you then.